make the stacks blow, rolling smoke down my nose, leaning on the console. I ain't seen no asphalt in about 10 miles, riding dirty in a heavy Chevy.
What's up, man?
What's up, dude?
How we doing?
I'm shitty today.
Shitty.
I'm in a fucking mood.
You don't seem like you're doing shitty.
Oh, you just give me a minute. I'll fucking show you. We got our boy Anthony back on.
We do.
What up?
Super good dude, man. You guys know him from the financial world. We've talked a lot about the financial world. We're going to cover a little bit of that. Hey, that's my sponsorship.
There we go. Sorry, it was right in front of Anthony's, or
was
right
it?
in front of his face. Yeah, all good.
Oh.
All good. All good. We still got
gotcha.
the sponsors in there.
I got you. So we had a podcast with him before. We talked about some financials and just life insurance, all of that stuff. So if you guys have questions on just life insurance and what he does, we're going to talk a little bit about that today too. But like, what I really want to get into is just like the business transition of it all, like what got you to it, how it's working, everything that you're personally deciding to invest in, whether it's vehicles, properties, whatever it is. And like, I just want to kind of jam out on how you're building it, decisions you're making, people, opportunities, what you thought was an opportunity, not an opportunity, like all of the good stuff, man, that we all go through as far as like just obstacles in business mixed in with some practitioner stuff, but more so not that too much today, but just I want more of the story behind what you're doing right now. That makes sense.
Sure. Yeah.
And for those of you guys maybe not watching on video, Anthony is not your typical finance guy.
No.
He's built. He's tatted.
He spends all your money on cigarettes. And he spends all your money on cigarettes and those stuffed animal machines inside of like the Grizzly Rose.
Oh,
yeah.
There we go.
I'm good
there
at those
we go.
fuckers.
You don't actually smoke though, do you?
No.
Okay.
And that's what's interesting, right? Is like I guess my look is expected because I have a military background. But when people don't quite know that, why I love video, and like this is always one of my nuggets. Why I love video is it just gives people the second best opportunity to know, like, and trust you, right? So when we have our YouTube channel, that we get a ton of clients from, or Instagram, like, and you're hearing us speak, you're seeing our kids, whatever it may be, but you're also seeing that I'm tattooed, or whatever it may be, and if you decide to call from our channel, you're okay with us. Same thing on Instagram, like people that I coach. All right, man, you kind of know
you had a chance to see
what to expect.
Yep.
Not just visually, but when I articulate on video or I write something, there's something great. I know you're diving a lot into social media. You and I have been talking a lot about that.
Yep.
Is there any obstacles you have like in the financial world as far as like visually what you look like, or because of like just the warmth of being a lineman?
Yeah, no, it's been helpful.
Okay.
I'd say coming from the lineman world and blue collar, that transition, that was my instant market I went to. And then by doing that, it was like, okay, cool. I started branching out slowly from there, from referrals of people who knew linemen. So if a lineman referred me to somebody in the medical field, she already knew the guy in alignment. So it was a very easy, seamless, slow transition. It wasn't like I'm reaching out to people, cold calling people, and then they finally see me. And it's like, oh, fuck, what's this guy like? It was very slow and organic and warm. And it worked. I mean,
life insurance is cool, man. And I'm just going to say just from my own personal opinion, but like, the way you can use life insurance. But then in addition to that, we've seen it in the military. We've seen it across other trades, like when like the GoFundMe comes out
I hate that
and
shit.
you're trying to get, and like I donate.
I do too.
Whatever I don't, but it's like, man, to see someone give $1 or $10 because you're going through this super heartbreaking situation while also trying to just raise some money for something versus like, that could be one thing you just don't have to worry about during that time and you can focus on family or whatever.
It's so inexpensive. It's like guys in the trade, they spend that money on gas station burritos.
Yeah.
I mean, that for a monthly amount.
Dude.
It's so inexpensive.
What was the best gas station burrito?
Oh, fuck.
This is a graveyard cop talking to a fucking lineman.
Depending on how drunk I was the night before.
Not on the job. You're talking, okay.
The night before.
Got it.
The drunker I was, the better that burrito tasted. I wasn't even a gas station burrito. It was either Rico's or Gomez was always good, though.
Those are pretty good.
From Commerce City area.
You're better off than me. I was going to say 7-Eleven.
No, those are the really drunk nights. Then it's like it just saves your life if you have them.
You guys ever get a piece of pizza from 7-Eleven?
Oh, it's the worst,
dude. It's great because you can like you
so
hold it
bad.
above your mouth and you drink the oil in your mouth before you take a bite.
Drink the oil. I don't think I've ever had one.
It's so fucking bad.
You're kosher.
Yeah, I've had like 7-Eleven hot dogs. I just don't have pizza. Yeah.
I'd rather just.
Did you have the regular or did you have like their all beef, like their bigger one? Real question. Don't get weird.
My mom might see this.
I'm
gonna go all beef just to be safe.
Okay, so you had that one. Okay.
There we go.
How far, like how big of a bite did you take?
Little, just a little.
Did you bite like half of it off?
Just inch max.
So
Did you bite any of it?
So
I
if you,
licked it for a long time.
so you're getting nothing. You're just getting the aftertaste.
I'm just like sucking the juice off of this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
He
See,
puts
you
it back
guys
on the roller.
You're so perverted. What I'm getting, like, you ever want your wife to try something and she's like, no, and you're like, just try it, and they try the smallest bite, and you're like, dude, you're just getting
You
aftertaste.
can't even. Yeah,
But if you couldn't get the whole thing down your throat, I just don't know if you're getting like
their hot dogs are bomb. I've not tried their pizza.
deal.
7-Eleven was definitely not good.
No, I have a funny story about 7-Eleven. You guys will like this.
Sure.
Dating my significant other, right?
Mhm.
And this is when I was still at Fit Republic. Company was growing, but like, dude, there's a lot of money going out, and like I was
Sure.
having to be tight with money because I was
Yeah.
bad with money back then. And I told her that, hey, we just got to slow down. We were spending like $2,000 a month on food and
Dumb shit. Yeah.
yeah. She's like, yeah, cool, no problem, great. And then not even a week later, her friends want to go out to some rich downtown place. I was like, hey,
That's pregame first, huh?
and she was like, nope, it's okay. Like, I got it. I can cover it. I got it. I was like, hey, that's cool. And we had been dating long enough where like that was now acceptable.
Sure.
Hey, no problem. Cool. So we're going out that night. And she's like, oh, dang it. And I go, what? And she's like, I forgot to transfer like money from like my one account to this other account where my debit card is. And I'm just like, can't you do that 24 hours? But I'm not tech savvy now. So I'm like, all right, I got it.
Right.
So we get there. I'm ordering a salad, no chicken, not even chicken on it. They're ordering steaks, buddy.
Yeah.
And they're getting their wine, and I'm just like sulking, fucking sulking. These steaks come out, they're like as big as a penny, weird sauce on it, right? This fancy restaurant.
Sounds delicious. Actually,
Oh, yeah.
I bet it was great.
No, they complained about the
Oh,
fucking-
really?
bro. It was
Oh,
just
My
not
salad sucks, but I knew my salad was gonna suck.
Yeah.
this steak, $40 plates, like it just everyone was still hungry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. It wasn't that good. Now they want to go to this place called Go Fish.
You
on
want
Broadway.
sushi after a
Yeah, it was like a bite of steak. It's like those
Yeah.
real fan, but it just wasn't done right.
Yeah.
So whatever reason, no one liked their meal. So we're going to Go Fish, and on the way, she's like, "Hey, can we stop by and just get something to eat? Like, I'm still hungry."
Mhm.
I'm like, "Yeah, cool. There's a 7-Eleven." And she's like, "Cool. Can you just grab me a hot dog?" And I'm like, "Yeah, cool." So like, I grab her like a hot dog and a bag of Funyuns. So I think I spent $4,
Yeah.
$3.
Yeah.
And and then we start driving down Broadway.
You didn't grab anything for you?
No,
No?
I'm broke.
I would have
Yes.
ate something in the
Brother.
aisle.
Brother, she starts eating this hot dog. And she was like, oh, this is so
You're
good.
just fuming.
And I'm like, the irony
Yeah.
of what $4 is doing for you right now after you just did what you did to me in that restaurant. I literally was like, yeah,
It's
she's the
funny.
one.
Mm.
Yeah, this is who I'm gonna be with. This is my
That's
future.
funny.
Oh,
That's
dude.
funny.
And she's great. It's a funny story.
Yeah.
That I always like to look back and laugh at and reminisce about 7-Eleven hot dogs.
7-Eleven.
Getting back to what you're doing, right, with financial. You're also investing in exotic cars and doing that for rentals. What else are you investing your own time into?
Real estate still. I still think that long term that's the move, and I haven't found much else to replicate that. As far as wealth building, the cars, gonna start getting into some buy and hold of exotic cars, old like Testarossas, SLS stuff that's
Sure.
gonna appreciate.
What's
And-
giving you that time? Because you have your financial business, right? So
Mhm.
for all the entrepreneurs that are listening, not just people that could do, financial stuff with you, but just from the framework of entrepreneurship, like for example, just to load this up, Eli and I have scaled our business pretty far, but
Sure.
that came with transaction coordinators. It came with VAs. It comes with regular assistants. Have you replaced yourself in some aspect in your business so far with an
Yes.
assistant or with other people,
Mhm.
in the field on your team doing some of the grunt work?
Yeah, the first thing I did when I switched over to Penn Mutual was hire an assistant.
So you're at
First
Penn Mutual now.
Yes.
Got it.
Yep. First thing I did was hire an assistant. Like, you know what? This is a fresh start. We're already going crazy. Let's make it to where I can sustain and keep going.
Right.
And that's the first thing I did. Yeah. Because I had a kind of an assistant before at Northwestern, but it was kind of it was like, here, you're doing good. You're doing a lot of volume. We're going to assign one person to handle all your shit.
Mm-hmm.
But it really wasn't my assistant.
Was it
my-
yours?
It was the
No.
office
Yeah.
assistant.
And it was very much so like 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Don't call her at, whatever time it was. 5:01, she's already,
Yeah.
checking out. I need someone that's like, hey, you may have a slow period throughout the day.
Yeah.
You may do whatever you want to. I don't care. You can do it. That's fine.
But if I need
But
you,
if I need you at 8 o'clock at night, I expect
Yep.
you there.
I've always
Yep.
been like that for our agents. Like if somebody calls me at 9 o'clock at night, here's my rule. Hey, you're an adult.
Yep.
You know it's 9 o'clock. I know it's 9 o'clock. If I know that you know it's 9 o'clock, then and you're calling me, it must be important. And I'm going to give you benefit of doubt that it's important. So I'm going to answer, but just make sure that it's important.
And same thing with my meetings. A lot of my meetings, because of my clientele, are in the evening. So middle of my day is pretty slow. It always has been. So middle of my day is kind of
mine is
time.
Hitting the fucking gym with like 1,000-pound reps.
That's the gym time, right? And then it's like maybe there's a nap in there because I have to go work and then have a meeting and then go to a club to meet some clients that are new to me now.
So what does your assistant do for you specifically now that you appreciate so much more than where you were at? Like what value? Because and the reason why I'm asking this question is we struggle when we coach. We struggle when we're on stage speaking. People letting go of certain aspects of their business. Even though they know everyone's told them that's done it, it will scale you. Yes, you're going to have to train that person. Yes, there's going to be a couple headaches. Yes, there's a gap here that you got to close. Eli's great at that, dude. He's been doing that for us for a long time. But even though they know in the back of their mind that's the one thing that they got to do to get their time back, they still don't do it.
Power struggle or finance. You want to pay the money.
I think it's limiting. I think it's like you've got this control issue, right? It's like, hey, you're not developing as a leader, right? Like leaders should be able to understand skill sets in people,
and delegate, and
but understanding that person's strengths and weaknesses, and then putting them in a position to win. So if I've got an assistant, it's like I got to be able to identify the right one. And I got to give them the right thing. Like we've got 4 VAs. Eli's great at identifying skill set and then giving them things on their plate that they're great at. So we're setting them up to win, and there's still training that's involved. But like that, it's like if you can't let go and have an assistant or other people involved in your business, but you have the ambition to grow it, you're super limiting and you're not growing into that leadership role.
She does a lot of, like we'll have a meeting, in a Zoom meeting. She's taking notes, so I'm not disengaged by taking notes. What I've found is early on, I was very good at.
So when you're on the Zoom with a potential client and they're wanting to do insurance with you, you're engaging, you're teaching, you're leading, she's taking the notes, just to be clear.
And she's filling out the CRM and all that crap. On all
CRM's great. I want to get to that too. She's doing all that stuff. And I was telling him earlier, what she's doing with the CRM and what I want her to do with my future podcast is like, I want her to learn all that, and I'm going to keep doing my thing. And when she gets out so far in front, she can turn around and teach me that slowly, and I can keep my business going the same way. That's what's been great. So like with the note taking, right? I take moderate notes. I can refer back to my notes, understand what I meant, but it takes away from the conversation. And I do so well. My close rate on a Zoom meeting is phenomenal. It's probably, people would probably be astonished at how well I do. It's when I have to slow
look at
down.
you.
And when
are you like threatening people on a Zoom call?
I'm just relatable.
Like, listen.
No, I'm very relatable.
You're going to get life insurance with me, or you're going to need it?
It's being very relatable on something that sometimes is very misunderstanding. It's like, what do you mean you can use this as a tool, right? So I make that relatable. And so I do well just talking to people and pretty much just fucking raw dogging it. Just no script, just going for it. Versus being on a script, trying to keep this, taking some notes. Where was I? It fucks me up. I'm not
framework. We do a lot with like what we will call framework.
Of
just understanding the concept and the order of operations that we want to cover.
And also the conversation.
But it's specific to them. You're gonna have questions. They're gonna have scenarios or situations that like are just different, but it's still within the framework of insurance. It's still within the framework of like for us real estate. Everybody's got different needs, different circumstances.
Everybody is different.
But when people receive information differently as well.
Too.
So no matter how different every meeting is, it's still within the framework of real estate.
100%. And so by me having her take the notes, and then I could keep on doing my thing, be more personable on the meeting, it just makes my success go higher. Then it's the follow-up stuff too. Like, hey, reach out to so-and-so. They've already done this part and this part. Now they missed a signature on a document. Her reaching out to that client and taking 5 minutes keeps me keep going in my lane. So all the little things that distract you your day to day, she's able to mop that up. And it doesn't take her much time. It wouldn't take me much time. It's the distraction. It's like looking at your phone. You might look at your phone for 5 minutes, but just derailed your entire train of thought. And it was 5 minutes, but it derailed everything.
And I like that you're not having to be the housekeeper for your clients. You're involved on the major decisions. You kind of maintain that respect and authority versus, excuse me, sir, you didn't sign this little piece of the paper, right? Yeah. Like that's
Does
good.
She communicate a lot with your clients?
She does. And that's why I want her on the meeting, so they see the face to the person who's going to call.
Is she like super tatted like you two?
No, she's not. She has some tattoos.
She's not buff and tatted?
She's pretty. It helps. It helps that she's pretty.
And
she's very soft. She's the opposite of me, right? I can come off a certain way, but then if they see me with her, oh, this guy's not a monster. He can. This young pretty girl can tolerate him enough.
They don't see the chains on her feet.
The orange jumpsuit.
Yeah. No,
soft skills are hard, man.
Yeah,
soft skills
I'm
are
developing.
hard.
Don't get me. I'm definitely softer now than I was when I first left. You know what I mean? It's learning what you just developing a skill. It's all skill, right?
It's all skill, but then you got to care. I talk about this. With
I definitely care.
I know you care.
That's the best.
And for me, I care as well, because even though like, hey, this is real estate, we talk about volume and transactions that we do great, but it's service based, and I come from. So do you. I come from service based.
Yep.
So with all the skill set and the grind that's required, I still feel like I've got an intimate relationship, and I've gotten really good at soft skills.
Yeah.
Because I care about my delivery or overall experience with our clients. If you don't care,
right,
eventually things will frustrate you, and you're going to be very one-dimensional in how you communicate or come off. And it's like take it or leave it, and you're just not going to scale or be a great leader if you can't understand soft skills.
Yeah, that's what I'm developing and getting better at, and then I get compliments. People are like, "Hey, man, you're so humble. Nice job."
We got to get some guys that hate you. I feel like we just got to get them in front of some. I'm gonna start.
Trust me, there's plenty.
There's plenty, they're out there somewhere.
They're out there.
I'm gonna start like setting up calls and then like having people like just get his ass.
I don't think that'd be very hard to do. There's probably a line around the door.
No, probably not, man. Like we've talked about that before as well. Of like, we just don't have a lot of haters. So either we're just not as big as I think we are, or a lot of people know the intent, or they're just maybe not.
I think misunderstood would be bigger or more accurate. Not hater, right? People that actually understand me, get me. The closer they get to me, they get it. But from an outside looking in, it could appear that this Lambo is flashy, or he's being a dickhead because he's flexing this. I'm not flexing anything. I'm trying to show you.
He parked right next to my Lambo.
I saw.
He fucking tried to flex on me, bro.
I took a picture. Yeah,
cool.
It's one of those things though. Like if there's another Lamborghini in the parking lot, you probably have to.
Right?
Do you?
Yeah.
No, I'm like, fuck that guy.
You want to race?
I'm gonna park fucking closer.
That's funny.
I don't know.
That's funny.
No, man, I know what you mean. Like, I feel like the closer.
It's not a.
I had to get better with that, because I would try to explain myself a lot to people.
Right.
And the reality is, the closer people got to us, the more and more I understood them and they understood us. And then, man, and then that's just finding your tribe.
Yeah.
So now, like, there are certain ways of communication. We were talking about this with coaching, right? Like, how I literally like try to give you a reason to not coach with me.
Sure.
But if I'm being hard on you or stern, whatever it is, if I'm trying to find a crack, something, it's a filter for me.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And like there's certain things that I'll just do within conversation or text, whatever it may be, to just see. Like, for example, if people want, like sometimes I'll offer it. No one's ever asked for it. But if I'm just not quite there with someone where I'm like, man, like, hey, I could coach this guy, but I see some reasons why we wouldn't be a great fit. And one-on-one elite coaching, man, that's a relationship. You got to have that trust, and you got to be able to tell each other the truth, right? So you've got to have a good connection. Yeah. And if I'm not quite there with the guy, like it could go this way, it could go that way, I will offer, hey, would you like to call some of my clients and just get a better grasp as far as like what we do and how it goes about. And both people I did that with, they said yes. One I coach, one I don't coach. What I love about that is they don't actually know that that's a filter for me.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So they're just like, oh, cool. They think the ball's in their court, and he's going to let me go interview more people to see if he's good enough for me, per se.
Yep.
And then you'll have behaviors like 20 minutes. So I give them 4 referrals. You schedule a call with somebody. 20 minutes before the call, they cancel it. Or they don't show up to the call. Or when they're on the call, they're just talking about, well, if I'm spending this much, how much am I getting back? I hear all of this from the people I gave them to refer. And I hit the guy up and I said, hey, man, I'm not going to be a good fit for you. And he was a little surprised. And I said, look, here's what you did on first guy. And then here's what you talked about with the next 3. If you're using 3 different people to ask the same fucking, like you're super limited, and you've got one thing on your mind. And it's not that money doesn't matter. Everybody I coach makes more money.
Yeah.
Right? It's established. It's almost like you don't have to have the conversation once you realize where they're at skill-wise. Mm-hmm. But you've got one thing on your mind to the point to where I think you're one-dimensional, and you'll refuse to grow because you're just looking for the next fix. Yeah. And I'm trying to build a business for you. I'm not trying to give you another bump off your fucking key.
Right.
But some guys are in that mindset, right? And it's like, man, that's going to be limiting. You've got one thing on your mind. And as much as you expect, look at how you fucking gaffed people off and didn't make a call or you were late.
Yeah.
Cool. So for those reasons, I'm out. And like, it'll surprise them. And it's like, yeah, that's how hard I go in the paint. I try to get you not to work with me. I try to find a reason to say no, because if I can't, we're in good shape, right? Like, for example, our clients, we literally tell our buyers during a buyer presentation, and we remind them along the way, every opportunity they can legally fall out of contract and receive their earnest money back on a home. And realtors give us the weirdest look when we explain this. Yeah. And it's like, listen, man, if we're knowingly and willingly passing each phase and get to the actual closing table of a home, it must have been a great home for you. Must have been a great fit. And there's no buyer's remorse. Like, you don't use that stuff to scare people. It's like, hey, here's where we've got opportunity. Here's where we can express our rights. And guess what? Very few have ever had to do that. Sure. But it's good that they know that, right? So like, I do the same thing for myself with coaching, dude. Like, you ever filter yourself away from certain people, or you ever devive in and make a mistake on an opportunity, like it wasn't a good opportunity or a person wasn't a good person?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
What do you got for that?
So the rental cars. So when I bought those cars, I thought, I was talking to some people that was renting them out. Like, the numbers they promised me for these cars were going to be crazy. I'm like, oh fuck, that's gonna be good money. That might be my primary income. That's good money. So I buy them. I put them out in.
How much did they tell you you'd make a month on a car for a Huracan?
For the Huracan, I was like $20,000 a month. You know, I was like, I'll buy 10 of them. Fuck, that's awesome. For real. You know, so I did. I bought 2. So I bought 2. I bought a Huracan and a Urus. And then I get to Vegas. That's where the car's gonna go, in Las Vegas. Get there, and then while I'm in Vegas, the first week where the cars get delivered, I'm like, there's a McLaren sitting there too. There's a Bentley there, so I can buy a Bentley and a McLaren. So in 2 weeks, I buy 4 cars, all badass cars. Yeah, and get them rented out, get them going, and none of them are doing what they were supposed to do. You know, they're covering the payment on them, and they're doing okay, but it's like, I don't need them to cover the payment. They're a depreciating asset. It's going to go to zero.
What type of payment did you have on these? Like normal 5-year, 7-year, 10-year?
No, just regular 5-year payment. 60 months. But okay, this isn't working. So again, a pivot. Like, this is cool. There's value here, but maybe not here. Maybe not Vegas. You look around, there's maybe a saturated market or whatever it was, right?
People are going to beat the shit out of that car.
So I ship them off to San Francisco. Different company, better infrastructure in the company and bigger company. So I'm like, all right, cool, this is going. They do better. But what I learned, I had a lot of clients in Las Vegas, still do. What I learned was, when I was in Vegas, I'd get in my Huracan and I'd drive around Vegas in my Huracan, and people would see me in that car and take me more credible and take me more serious. I was like, oh, there's some currency here. I didn't recognize there was. I just thought it was this cool to drive a Huracan. It's fucking cool. People, you know, who wouldn't want to? Yeah. I was kind of looking at it as a more vacationary thing, and like, oh, cool. While I'm in town for the weekend, I can drive my car. This is cool. People saw me in that, recognized me, heard me, took me serious. There's validation to it. You can't fake it. You know, whether the reason I bought those or whatever you can say is I bought them. Yeah. And you can't take it away from anybody. So you buy them. It's legit. So I lost that when I shipped them to San Francisco, but I didn't recognize it until they're already in San Francisco. And I'm like, kind of lost that now. So they weren't doing great in San Fran. I'm like, fuck it. Ship them to Denver. At least I'll have them in my backyard. I'll rent them out locally. They may not do as well, but now I'm driving my Huracan every day locally in my own backyard. And now and that's what's been taken off. Yeah. So that's the pivot. Now I'm in a spot where, do I sell some that aren't going to be rented, or do I just rent them locally on Turo? I'm still kind of in a spot with that, undecided yet. But me driving that Huracan around or that McLaren around, I'm in whole different markets in circles now than I ever was before. I have a whole new client base because of it. Yeah. Just being in that circle, just talking to that guy about cars, about watches, it's a whole different world. It's like, oh, that's cool. And didn't know I wasn't doing it on purpose. I wasn't trying to just sneak my way in anything. It was a natural, slow, organic process, and it's doing really well for me.
I feel like Tony looks like a guy in San Diego, all tatted up with like Lamborghinis and pit bulls in his backyard.
Oh, I can see it.
When he's like, yeah, I got 2 Lambos in my backyard. Like, what do you mean backyard? Like chained
in
up with
backyard.
your fucking dogs?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
In a trailer park?
I can see it. I can see it.
You don't put him in like a nice garage, climate control?
I mean, I got 2 of them in my garage, yeah. Well, Deion Sanders has one of mine right now. Yeah. Yeah, he has got the
Does he drive it okay? Or do you not know?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
You don't do checkups on the car?
I do, a little bit. He's only had it for 6 weeks. So it's going good.
Do you get a check on your car? Mm-hmm. You just have to, like, is it like a landlord? You got to give him 72 hours notice?
I'll tell you this. It's that whole market, that whole industry is not what I thought it was. Not thrilled with it at all. I'm probably taking all my cars back pretty soon, even the one he's got. Because the company I'm with right now, I'm just not thrilled. And, I vetted him, I thought was okay. And then you get into these circles. You talk to guys who know these people. Like, oh, you're with him? Yeah. They kind of give you that look like, oh, okay. Then things start happening. Like, oh, that makes more sense. And then just
like the people you're with to broker the cars, or what do you mean?
The company, they're brokering the cars out.
There's like drama between these companies, or
it's not even in the companies. They're like body shops or mechanic shops. They've dealt with these guys. Or one guy I'm working with now, he used to be a partner with them.
He goes, he's like, hey man, they beat the shit out of these cars.
I've caught that guy joyriding. Customers have caught him joyriding their shit. And I have GPS on it too, and I've seen it. Which in the beginning, it's okay. You got to take it home for the night because whatever. I get that. That's part of it. You're driving around. It's marketing. There's levels to that though, right? So what I'm learning about the whole industry is just like, I'm not trying to rag on anybody, but like, it's not,
when you're doing the math, it's like, hey, how much money a month do I make on these cars? Okay, I make this much. Okay. But if I just brought the car back and used it for my own gain, how much could I just go make that money plus some myself by just the relationships that I'm gaining? And
that's the pivot I had to make, and I'm glad I did. And that's like that's worth way more currency than me renting them out.
I twin turboed mine just to get away from everybody.
I know. See, mine's not all-wheel drive. Mine wouldn't hook up.
No, I'm being funny. No, because I have one as well, right? Like, it's fun, man. The funnest part for me is kiddos.
Yes, I was going to get to that point.
Dude, kiddos don't have an ego yet. They don't have insecurities. They don't have judgment. These little kiddos, right? Like, there's a trunk or treat tonight I'm going to try to make. And they just light up and love it, and it's cool because like you're making it possible for them, right? Like, now, the other reason like why I have it is like, yeah, man, like I've been driving cars and visualizing my life and driving by big homes since I was 16. If I'm still driving if I'm still driving the same car as when I was 16, clearly it's not working. Like it was important for me, like Eli will tell you, because I had an R8, I've had all sorts of stuff. Like I went ahead and just got the Lambo because that was the car on the poster as a kid. If I'd have gotten a McLaren or something else, not that it would have devalued the experience, but it's like, for me mentally, it was important to check the box that was open.
The exact one you want,
Check the box, right? Because it just connects the dot. Now when I drive and I miss my mom, or I'm just thinking on some shit, like today, right? Like the conversation I was having, like I'll probably go for a cruise tonight, right? Like it helps me a ton. That's like my active like meditation. And like what I hope adults take from it as well is like, hey, like, this is just me having what I choose to have. And instead of judging it, what you should realize is it's actually giving permission for you to have what you should have.
It's showing you it's attainable.
It's the same reason I got my hands done for tattoos. This is the point of no return.
That's mine too, but I was a lineman, and I was like, I'll be a lineman forever.
Yeah, fuck it.
We all fuck them. This is like, I can make pretty good money as a lineman.
If you die as a lineman and you like die with a Thor hammer on your head, you're like, that guy was like cool. Badass. Cool. What happened? He got zapped 100 yards. You're like, fuck, he is Thor. Yeah, I bet his hand is like actually electric now, like the Thor hammer.
That's funny.
But when I go talk about it, man, it's like, hey, not only do these things have reasons, like there's little pieces to my hands. Everything means something on my body. You don't have to. That's just my preference. But the reason why the hands were done is, hey, this is point of no return. This is like, you've got to be you now, and you've got to run your own shit. Yeah, man. Like,
no one's coming.
But it's also me visually giving people permission to organically be themselves at their highest level. Like, but a lot of folks just don't necessarily see it for what it is. But this, again, like why I love content so much, because the more you can articulate, whether it's this podcast right now and people hearing it, or they hear it on social, it's that, and like Eli, he's different. Everybody loves Eli.
Oh, not true.
Eli has his whole core tatted.
True. True.
Eli hides them all. But not because he's trying to hide.
I understand. Yeah.
But, like Eli, I've never really asked you like why you decided to like do your core. Eli's got, I don't want to call it dark. That's the wrong word. Maybe. But he's got some super cool imagination, super cool like tattoos on his core of his body.
Yeah.
Just cool
He's
stuff.
He's got abs. We don't have abs. That's the difference.
No.
Yeah, but dude, we could do like a coconut down there. We could do some bad shit. Right? Like, but I've never really like asked you like completely like where it all came from and why you wanted it. Not only like the tattoo itself, but like why you got it, where you got it. You kind of mentioned something, but we've never really talked about it.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I don't have like a grand reason behind it. I was like, part of it is just I always wanted a stomach tattoo. I think it's cool. There is definitely an element of Eli that for sure comes from insecurity, insensitive ego of my whole life. I've always underplay and surprise than talk myself up and potentially let people down, you know?
What are you trying to say?
There's definitely, that's just how I've operated. Like I'd rather, I suck at this and and then if I suck at it, great, I sucked at it.
Yeah.
If I'm good at it, great, 100%.
Sandbag.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's part of it. And with like tattoos, if we're looking at like just a straight like cool factor, it's cooler to be like
revealing.
Oh yeah. Oh, Eli's like and then the random time you happen to see me at a pool or something, like, oh shit, I didn't know.
It's a lot cooler than I thought he was.
I like that element of it,
dude. But to speak to that,
yeah.
Eli had me try ecstasy for the first time a couple of years ago, right? I was his little virgin cop and Marine that had never tried anything. Sure. So he's like, I'm a petri dish for him.
Okay.
Right? He's like, ooh, let me drop my drugs in the will.
All right.
So I tried ecstasy for the first time.
Did you know you were taking it?
Yes.
Yes. He did.
Oh, dude, you don't want
that cool. Come on, you guys.
Yeah.
Not me, buddy.
I appreciate my life.
Out of all drug jokes that get played, it ain't on me because I'm too like you just don't know which way I'm going.
Can you imagine this dude running after you on ecstasy?
Right. No shit.
Dude,
great and killed.
Brother,
not sure which order.
I was so fucking strong.
Yeah.
I was shaking the building.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm like you. I've never done any drugs. Never desired to.
Yeah.
I kind of missed that because in high school I saw all my fellow high school athletes getting in trouble for getting caught with cigarettes, getting caught drinking, all that.
Can't fuck with it.
Right. So in high school, it's like, well, I don't do that. That's important to me. Out of high school, instantly into a job that was drug testing.
Yep.
So when I'm getting drug tested,
and dude, you don't want to be fucked up doing that job.
So
what was crazy, right? Is like,
I missed all of it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And what was crazy is, so he asked me to try it, and I've never thought of drugs as like a productive thing. I've always thought like, crackheads. I was a cop, right? Yeah. Very narrow minded. And so he had me try it. Well, here's what was cool. As I was like on it, rolling per se, we did one pills like baby shit. But I had this blanket on me, something external, covering me.
Yep.
And it felt amazing in the way, whatever. And like we're playing some music, and like Eli was on the bed, right? Fully clothed.
Allegedly.
We were not fornicating.
Allegedly.
But he was just, while I was talking and feeling amazing and talking to our video guy that was with us, right? I'm just like talking to him, telling him how I'm feeling because it felt good to talk about it. It felt good to have this external like blanket on me. And then Eli was just chilling on the bed, like not laying down, but just like sitting up against the headboard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So he's just kind of like sitting up on the headboard, just chilling. And he was just kind of grabbing his shoulder a little bit and just kind of like feeling himself while the music was playing. And for the first time, I was like, well, the first thing I said was, hey, I want that. And he's like, oh, no. I was like, no, like I wasn't making fun.
Right.
And for the first time, I was like, I just felt like I had a better understanding of like,
I get it. Yeah.
Where joy comes from, how we express it or internalize it. And like, it's interesting because his most of his tattoos are like undercover, internal for him.
Sure.
Maybe they're revealed. And then me, I'm just very visual and I'm very like, I get a lot, like putting into others puts into me. But having that experience with him, it literally just made me understand.
Just got it. Yeah.
Like no right or wrong, just indifference, but like both people, talkative, energy, or internal. Yeah. It's the intent of who those people are that matter. You can be confident in getting after stuff, but still be very humble.
Sure.
And have nothing but of a great intention for others. You can also be quiet and internal and be the most pretentious, non-humble motherfucker, but because you just don't externalize a lot.
Saying, yeah.
No one knows you're an asshole because you don't say, and Eli's not an asshole, but I'm just saying, it's not about what's on display that really expresses intent. And like, it just made me understand his and I's like dynamic and how we work so well together.
Then we FaceTime my wife and made her show us a titty.
Dude, I got to pick, and she was so cool. It was the most non-sexual thing that ever happened. She was just like excited because I tried it for the first time.
Right. Yeah. It was and her and I do it a couple times a year. So
dude, what?
You're in the club, Will. That's awesome.
Bro, it was awesome. But like, I never thought about, drugs per se for growth. They were always just like things that can get you in a lot of trouble or hurt you. Or like, people use them for recreation and fun. But like, nah, man, I already have fun. I don't need it for that. Like, but between that and then, trying mushrooms before, there's some cool growth that can happen.
I'm kind of with you on that. I never needed it. Never thought it was cool. I'm opening up more and more to it, and around the right people, maybe I will. And I've heard a lot of good things from them, but I'm just, haven't done it yet.
As we were popping that pill, right? Like it almost went bad. Because
as
I'm drinking the pill, Eli was like, we're all in this little circle. He hands me one.
A little bit?
No,
a little.
Okay.
Not
that one.
No, he didn't do that. Yes, that's that. He handed me one. He handed our boy one. He took one. And then right as I swallow it, he goes, "See you later." And drank his. And I was like, "Don't fucking say that."
That's almost as bad as saying, "Oh, it's the wrong one." Yeah,
it's true though.
But like I trust him. But but it was cool. Like as far as like business wise, like for you expanding, right? Like just kind of changing the tone a bit. What do you struggle with now? Like where's your growth going? What do you struggle with? I guess the second part to that would be like, what direction are you looking at taking business? Like, is it more of what?
And I'm throwing another one on there.
Okay.
We didn't address what got you to your place that you're at now.
Oh, great.
But man, throw that on. I just want to throw that on the pile because I'm curious about that.
So I guess sum it all up again. I don't want to lose train of all that.
What got you to where you are now?
Yeah. What sparked the change?
Yeah.
Just leaving line work, you mean?
Yep.
No. From one place to the other.
Oh, okay.
I like how I say yep and yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah.
I hijacked your question. My apologies.
So yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying now. So yes, I left line work to become a financial advisor at Northwestern Mutual. While I was there, I slowly realized it probably wasn't the best place for me.
Mm-hmm.
Just a lot of little things kept happening, a lot of chinks in the armor, and I was really trying to lay back and like, no, he's not doing that to me. That's not happening. This place is cool. This place is where I want to be.
Can I butt in just real quick?
Of course.
Because we talk about this in real estate. There's pros and cons to brokerages that are just black and white. But what matters most? People.
Yep. Who
are you around and who's setting you up for success and wants you to win? Because you can go win at any brokerage if you got the right people around you.
Yeah.
So like what you're talking about is like not even a Northwestern Mutual thing per se. It's like potentially the people that were around you.
And what it was is I was doing so well so quickly. Everyone's like, "Oh, attaboy, nice job." It wasn't
for a minute.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that part.
Yep.
So it was more or less. I didn't realize it in the moment. They were giving me attaboys because of how well I was doing, and they weren't helping me get there.
Mm-mm.
They're happy I was there, but they have no fucking idea how I got there. And they would tell me that. So the first thing that happened that kind of chapped my ass was that I was doing so well so quickly, and they didn't understand how I was operating. They said, "We love what you're doing. Let's build you a team, and you can have your own office because obviously whatever we're doing, not really, not relevant to us. You're outgrowing our relevancy. We want to help you still. And maybe that's you getting your own team and you having your own office. Because right now I was working out of my house.
Yeah.
So, okay, cool. Let's do that. That was in February. And by the time I left in June, nothing had happened. But in between there, I talked to some buddies that may be interested in coming on board and got one person to come on board. And he's ready to go. And slowly but surely, he starts getting attached to a different team. And it was like, why is he on this guy's team when I know I brought him in? The whole plan was for him to be on my team. And just like real estate, you get percentages of people underneath you.
Yeah.
And it's not so much to like take from them. It's like you're giving up your time to help them and develop them.
100%.
So it's only right.
It's a business, dude.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm bringing him into he's a lineman. I'm bringing him in directly into my warm market. The only way this works for me is if we end up expanding and conquering more.
Right.
And otherwise, if we're not on the same team, now we're competing.
Did he talk to you about?
Oh, he's my boy. He told me what's going on. So I knew.
Did he end up going to the other team?
Hold on, we'll get there.
Oh, man, I know. I want the nut now. I'm 39, bro.
I know. So he knew
20 minutes.
Enough foreplay.
No,
God damn it.
So he knew what was going on. He called, "Hey man, this is fucked up." I said, "Absolutely." Made a phone call. Said, "This is fucked up." And the first time I actually got visibly upset with my leadership, and I was pretty much like the guy on his heels, trying to be cool. I know how I look. I know how I talk. I'm not trying to cause any waves.
You compensate for it for a minute.
I let it out. I said, "This is fucking bullshit. You guys are coming at me, acting like I don't know what's going on." I said, "You promised me this. This is not happening at all. This is bullshit." "Well, it's not like that. It's not like that." Okay, it is like that.
Yeah.
So that gets me pissed off. Shortly after that, I'm on your podcast. Okay. That podcast airs.
Oh, you were on before? Man. Did it air?
It did.
I had to deal with some knuckleheads.
I know you did. Yeah.
So it airs, right? Gets on the air. It's great. Everyone loves it. I mean, you guys were telling me it was doing really well.
Yeah.
It was doing good.
It was doing better than our Ryan Pineda episode, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It was tracking.
It was also the shirt I was wearing. It's not
probably the red. It was red shirt.
God
yeah.
damn it.
Yeah.
I had pineapples on that day.
Uh-oh.
So they call me, "Hey, take it down." "What do you mean take it down?" "Take it down. We'll have a meeting about this, but take it down." So we have a discussion. And, what pissed me off about that whole thing was 15 minutes of that was about money.
Yeah.
Most of it was my life story.
And there wasn't anything illegal.
No.
Everything they were talking about was just preferable to what they wanted.
And I learned these things the hard way. So anyhow, long story short is I had a lot of personal shit in that first podcast, and they didn't say a word to me. Hey man, I didn't know you had to go through that. I didn't know you went through this. Good for you. And nothing. It was like, you fucked up here. You fucked up here. Can't have that. Take it down. So now you've got 2 strikes against me. And I'm like, that's how you guys are, huh? That's how you guys are about me. That's how you guys think of me. So I'm in a mood. I get a phone call one day, and I'm thinking some guy had followed me on social media, and he hits me up, DMs me, hey man, let's have a meeting. Love to hear what you're all about and whatnot. Cool. I'm thinking he wants to be a client. So I'm get my shit ready to go, get my laptop fired up, all my shit. Like, I got this. Yeah, another deal I'm going to get. And this is awesome. I mean, I was, pretty.
Nah, he's a recruiter.
Yeah. So he calls me up and he starts talking. I hear the conversation shift. And I was like, all right, dude, fuck it. Let's hear it. He goes, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm not happy where I'm at. I know why you're calling. Let's hear it. And he's like, you hear him like, because he was trying to play coy. And good by him for not jumping into it. He didn't want to just steal me. He wanted to feel me out. Was I happy? If I was happy, he probably would have left me alone. But when he goes, dude, I've heard all about you. Your name's been circling around the network and whatnot. I know I've heard all about you. Now I've been following you on social media for a little while. Yeah. Saw you on the podcast. You'd be a great fit for us. I'd love to have you. Talk about some numbers and whatnot. And I'm like, fuck it. I said, I'm pretty upset. Let's talk sooner than later. When can we
what's
talk?
the worst that could happen?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm like, this is Monday. He goes, I'm like, when can you meet? He goes, how about tomorrow? I said, done.
Yeah.
Drive down, talk to him, have a meeting. And 3 other guys from Northwestern previously were all in this room with me. Like, dude, we see where you're at. He goes, and I'm paraphrasing here, but basically it was like, you're doing great. We can't believe the numbers because he heard about me, but I brought paperwork with me.
Yeah.
This is where I'm actually at. They're like, holy fuck.
They're like, you're Will's friend? Fucking hell.
So the numbers I showed them, they're like going from, hey, we've heard about you to holy fuck, no wonder we've heard about you.
Yeah.
And they basically said, listen, dude, you're trending in a way we all were. The only difference between you and everybody else in this room is you got there in your first year. It took us 5-6 years to get to a point of we need to leave this place.
Yeah. That was Eli and I in real estate.
Yeah. So I smoked through it and they're like, okay, cool. Now the next move is let's meet the big boss. He's flying in, met him Thursday. And I also made sure that the compliance guy was there. I said, part of the reason I'm upset is the compliance shit. I want whoever makes that decision to be at this meeting.
100%.
Yep. Because I want to tell him exactly what I'm planning on doing.
Yep.
And if there's any bullshit later on, we can squash
talk
this.
about it.
Yep. So I did. He goes, not a problem. Not a problem. They were laughing at the reason. Like, that's not a problem at all, dude.
It's just preferable stuff, bro. It's like the things that people get caught up in the weeds about.
Yeah. So when I found out there wasn't going to be an issue, they also offered me a great deal to come over. And one of the cool things I'm probably most proud of is that they offered me a salary to come over.
Yep.
An unheard of amount of money for a commission only job.
Yep. Right.
So he offered me, I was blown away. It was for 2 years, X amount for first year, X amount second year. And they're like, hey, we know you don't know what to ask for. You're pretty new in the business. We know you probably don't know your value, but we're going to tell you, this is what we want to offer you. And I was like, holy fuck, that's awesome. All I cared about was the freedom. The freedom. Yeah. And the little things.
Well, because you can go make money, man.
Yeah.
If you got your freedom and you've already proven you can go make money, okay, man, I can hunt. Yep. I'll go do my thing. Just don't fuck it up for me.
Exactly. Stay out of my way. Help me where you can help me, but stay out of my way. They're like, we love it. Northwestern was like, hey, you got to this level. Cool.
You're just a constant reminder there of what they're not doing, though.
Yeah.
Like, there's this like friendly type of hate that you'll get where people kind of like, you ever have a manager, Eli, and you're just better at some things than they are, and they just know it's only a matter of time before you take over what they got. So they try to like find some things you're doing wrong, and you're like, bro, that's
my managing partner told me my days in the strip club are no longer. I can't go there anymore. I can't hang out in those places. And one of my biggest clients will be from the strip club. Yeah. That's the difference of their mentality of you can't be seen in those places. I'm like, some people make a lot of money. Some people are good dudes who just want to hang out in a strip club and talk business versus a steakhouse. What's the difference? Who cares?
You could have steak at a strip club.
Bingo. Right?
Yeah. Apparently they're good too.
The point is like these guys are so narrow-minded and so didn't see me. Like you say, they didn't see me.
Here I am thinking ecstasy was cool. Like, wait, you could have steak? What?
Right.
Are they serving fish too?
Ugh. Hey, I want to finish up the story before I forget.
I know.
So my proudest moment of this negotiation that was almost a non-negotiation because they just threw the kitchen sink at me and said, we love you. Come on over. Yeah. It was great. But I want to bring my buddy on this whole thing. I'm trying to bring my buddy with me. And
this is the part I've been wanting.
Yeah. So basically there's like, hey, I said, I've been talking up this other place for 3 months and telling him we're going here, we're going here, we're going here. The last second he goes, I'm like, we're going here instead. So he's freaking out. He's like, dude, what do you mean? I'm quitting my job. I'm changing my life. We're going to go here. And now you're telling me that place sucks. We're going to go here. So I tell them that. I'm like, how about my second year salary you were going to offer me? You cut that in half and give it to him in his first year. So he's got something in this first year, little blanket, little cushion, little reassurance. And I don't need this money anyway. I mean, money, right?
Yeah.
I don't need it. I was doing fine without it. I can sacrifice that and put it up here.
Give him half of it, right?
He sat back. He's like, I like that. He goes, that's awesome. It's pretty noble of you. He goes, in less than an hour, I'll be able to make some phone calls and find out if that second year is still on the table for you. Because we love it. Done. So that was it. And then 30 minutes later, calls me. He goes, year 2 still on. You're good. Welcome. So yeah. So I was pretty happy that I did that for my buddy because like, hey, made him.
Is he fucking work? So he did come with you.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And he's working hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Grinding. Yeah. It's like, and I don't mean to bad talk your buddy. I don't know the guy, but I've just run into this saying of like, no good deed goes unpunished. Like you can only help people to a certain level.
Yeah.
Before you have to, and I'm not saying your buddy specifically. I'm just
sure
it triggered a thought in me where it's like, I've believed in people so much where I've literally put such an opportunity on the table to help them make that possible that all it does is get reversed.
Yeah. I'd say that there's a learning curve with me on that because I have this mentality of, or had this mentality of, if I did it, anybody can do it.
Yeah. We talked about that today.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I probably didn't make it easy on him by doing that, having that mentality. I probably should have made it seem harder for him because he's not struggling, but he's not doing as well as I think he thought he could do, or as maybe he thought he would do. Right. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're still working through that, but like me painting this picture of, fuck, you'll be fine. Right. That's probably wasn't good on my part, you know.
Something that we've gotten good at.
Humble.
Yeah, 100%.
You know,
something Eli and I've gotten good at is like anything we've become successful at, we start creating training systems and processes to have a framework of people to follow.
I can't train what I do. I don't know how the fuck I do.
Oh, there is. There's like whatever conversation you have with clients, that discovery call.
Yeah, I know.
There's different things that you hit in that call that could be the framework for the call, right?
I know. I'm
joking.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what you learn.
No.
But we try to do that, and then we start pouring that into people that we believe in, and then we watch the ROI create. And if it's there, and if it's there for several, now we're like, okay,
it's repeatable.
It's duplicatable.
Yeah.
Okay, so now and then you keep refining, but that was the one jump that we did as far as like just knowing that before we try to rush in and train people on things, it's like let's have this framework, some general step-by-steps, some progression from start to finish. Let's have systems and processes in play. Let's guide them through the entire thing. And if we can get some ROI out of it, okay, we'll take it to scale. We'll take it to the market, like our YouTube course. We had a ton of people. We were training and teaching YouTube before we ever actually put it into a course.
Like a trial.
We did we were training people without a course. Then we made the course and gave it to a couple folks for free.
Okay.
To see where the ROI was, see where we could make some things better. And then once those improvements were made, then we went to the market with our course. Yeah. Make sense? So like, it's just that. And we just have to follow that play. But dude, like Eli will tell you, I get excited about people, man.
Yeah.
And I kind of like to get excited about people. It's fun, but like, we still got to run the play.
Sure.
And making sure that it's not just excitement.
You don't want to not get excited and be jaded and be that old crusty fuck, right? You don't want to do that. You want to believe in people and you want them to do well and you want what's best. And you want
and for every handful of people, there's one or two.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to believe that that's the norm is people are good.
Yeah.
And people are shitty, not the norm, right?
Yep.
And but sometimes the numbers don't always play out that way. And it bothers me anyway. You know.
What's the biggest upset or biggest struggle you've had so far?
I've had people close to me that didn't think they needed life insurance, and it's like, okay, or they didn't trust it. Certain thing I took personal, and it was like it was a family, very close to the family, and it let it bother me. It's like maybe they didn't see the value in it, and I don't think maybe I didn't explain it well enough, but I know that I did, and it was just a I don't know, it's a weird family thing. I just didn't want to do it, and I'm like, okay, so if you're gone and you have 3 kids at home and a stay-at-home mom, who's paying the bills here? Because I've seen this scenario play out before, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
So, and it was such minimal money, and it was like that bugged me.
How much money is it for people to do it?
It could be as little as $20 a month, you know, and it's a substantial amount of money payout that covers. Now, people who make more money need a little bit more. Maybe it's $50, right?
Yeah.
That's just the basic term side.
How much is life insurance for me?
Depends. If it's term, for you with your net worth, just guessing, spitballing, probably less than 100 a month, just to cover a substantial payout,
$1
Now,
million.
what do we do if we have like a homicidal wife?
Double down. You don't make her the beneficiary.
Megan.
Literally just last night.
Make him the beneficiary.
Literally last night, Megan was coming at me, and I was like, "I don't have life insurance. I don't have life insurance." That was yeah, oh yeah.
Well, let's do tell. Is it a good story or a get you in trouble story?
He's still here. It's got to be somewhat good.
No, yeah, it's a get me in trouble story.
Well, I'd say that's the hard one. Not learning that, hey, maybe that's not for some people. And when I know it is, and it bothers me that I may have to, I know these kids.
And you can't necessarily just buy that for them because of like ethics or.
You have to be, it's called insurability or fuck, I'm drawing a blank. But there has to be a reason for it. Family or business.
You can't just go buying people life insurance. Yeah. Same thing with like real estate. Like we could pay for clients like inspections, but the gray area is if they end up having buyer's remorse or something goes wrong with this house after they close on it, and they say that like, well, I just felt like my realtor was like pressuring me.
I was coerced into buying a home.
Yeah, like they paid for my inspection, they paid for this. Like, meanwhile, you're just trying to be nice because maybe they couldn't afford it, or they didn't want an inspection. Or they're like, no, we're getting one.
It keeps the deal alive, right?
But no good deed goes on. Like that'll come back. And dude, there's been people that we had at an old brokerage where the guy literally got sued, and part of the lawsuit was like that was of concern. Was like, well, why did you pay for their inspection? And it's like, because I'm a good dude. Yeah. True, but like now it's being used, right? So there's got to be some ethics. Or just etiquette, right? Where you can't just like, hey, dude, you're an idiot. I'm just going to buy it for you.
Sometimes I've had another tough thing that's happened to me is guys will get declined for either criminal background, driving background, or just health, right? And it's like,
because you got to get like a physical for it, or what?
Yeah, you got to get a physical for it.
Ew.
You have to get drug tested.
Yes,
but God damn it.
There might be ways around that. We'll see.
Get out.
I wasn't always I know.
Tony will peanut.
So the one time,
it's not that. It's more like when the test is coming, right?
Yeah. The one time I did,
that's what I mean by that.
Oh, it's the NFL. Great.
I do need to talk to you about life insurance, but the last time that I went and like, because I did have it for a span.
Sure.
And they had to do the whole physical. I intentionally like couldn't smoke weed for months, right?
Yep.
But then on some like interview thing, it did come up that like I do smoke, right? Or they, and somewhere along the line, they made me put down that I smoke tobacco.
Weird.
Okay.
And I was like,
and you do or you don't?
I don't. Okay. No, I don't. Not
but
at
they
all.
didn't have they didn't have a bubble for weed.
And they apparently didn't like that.
So they
or
just
something.
chalk it up at that.
So they declined
when?
No.
When?
It was just extra. I had to pay extra.
When are you fucking motherfuckers in insurance gonna get modern to psilocybin and marijuana and treat as medicine?
How about this? How about BMI?
That's BMI is the biggest bullshit ever, bro.
I get there's gold, silver, bronze rating, and they're all labeled different things every company.
Yeah,
I get a bronze rating because of my BMI.
BMI needs to go
and
away.
I
you fat fuck.
Fucking hate it. You'd be the same way. You might get worse.
Yep.
I got a fat neck. I get away with it.
And they measure. Well, one thing at Penn, which I do love, they measure your chest.
Yeah.
So if your chest is bigger than your belly, you get a better rating versus
it's a mathematical. We did it in the Marine Corps.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you were like me being 6 foot, you couldn't be over. I think it was like 195 or 205.
Yeah.
And I was 210 or 290. When I was an instructor, I was 219.
Yeah.
And they would measure your neck and your chest and your stomach, and then they would do this little mathematical equation. Go, all right, you're 14% body
credit
fat, so
for
you're
your chest being bigger, right?
Well, they would run the little math, and as long as you're under a certain body fat percentage, then you were
Penn
fine.
does that when they underwrite. Penn does because I had it to me, so that helps.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Other hard times would be when,
do they
frustrating?
Like, but here's the thing: do they like run checkups every year?
No. No. Once you're in, you're in. That's the cool part.
Yeah, but it's also the hypocritical fucking part.
I know.
Well, because motherfuckers are just getting fucking.
Yes and no.
You think if they're fat, they're fat.
Well, you can improve your rating.
I think like insurances would save a lot of money if like once a year they go, oh, you're now doing a ton of drugs.
So cops,
dude, don't get me started. Yeah,
same shit, right?
But at least cops have to run a physical every 6 months. They got to hop the fence.
They got to run it. Do they actually do it?
Well, because they got to hop over a fence and
to the box of donuts or what?
Yeah, yeah, but they're make fun of it. There's still something.
Got to get there, right? No,
there's still no. And don't get me wrong, like that's a whole other podcast of like where I was, upset with like just tactical proficiency, 100%.
So will they deny people for like weed?
No,
they won't.
You'll get maybe a rating. That's all. Like I said, go gold, silver, bronze.
You just got to pay more.
Yeah, but here's the thing. So there's two types of life insurances, and I fucking got in trouble for saying that last time. There's generally speaking, there's two big broad types. There's types within types, but there's term, which is what we're talking about, which you'll pay more for the same coverage, or there's whole life, which you're going to be using in a total different way. You're using that to build equity and use it. That doesn't matter. If you get a rating for that, it doesn't matter because all it does is drop your death benefit, which we're not worried about anyway. We're structuring it to build cash. And the way that I structure it with extra cash, it doesn't matter.
But if you die, you should be worried about your death benefit, right?
That's what we add a little bit of term to that.
Oh, got it.
So we're going to supplement that. The whole life literally is not.
If I die, Eli funds my family.
Buy your business or what? Well, there's buy-sell
If
agreements.
Eli dies, I fund his family. Right?
Sure.
Essentially, yeah.
I wouldn't not take care of your family.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we still have an income-producing business together as partners.
Here's the thing you guys probably haven't thought about, though. With business partners, we'll do what's called a key man policy. So let's say you pass away, right? Now your estate will probably end up going to your wife, right? Now he's in business with your wife.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You're doing the business with my wife.
He may not like that.
Probably be better.
No,
she's really smart.
That's fair. Using generalities here to explain
Kate's
the topic here. Jesus. Like my kids.
I'm just skirting the edges of not saying too much insurance.
I know. So what I'm getting at is he now is in business with your wife, and he may or may not like that. With your situation, it may work. Most business partners don't want to be in business with their wife.
No.
So you take that cash payout that goes to him. He now has that money to buy out your equity.
So then I buy the
now
business.
He has 100% of the business.
If she lets you.
No. If it's an agreement, it's called a buy-sell agreement.
Yeah.
Those get sticky.
It'd be like a joint tenancy or tenants in
The
common.
other thing is typically most spouses would rather have that cash versus taking and running the business. Well, okay, you want to run the business? This is your duties of running the business.
Here's what's funny about our spouses. He literally married me, female version.
Yeah.
And I am with female version of him.
That's perfect.
When he talks to Kate, he listens to her. She listens to him.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're having this little friendly conversation about like code and websites. I'm like, oh, you guys would be the boringest fucking
I know. Yeah.
Just look at you guys just getting along, Ned Flanders and whoever the fuck.
Right. Yeah, probably wouldn't work.
No.
But that's one thing we do life insurance for too is not everyone has the business relationship you guys have.
Right.
Most people don't. So when you have that policy, it's very inexpensive.
Elon and I spit on our hands.
Yeah, that's a handshake deal, man. Yeah.
No, we didn't shake hands. We spit on our hands and we.
Yeah, you ever heard of docking?
Oh yeah. One of these gotta have the skin though.
We're just like Tombstone, man. If you went down, it's like I'm just gonna provide there. No problem.
And with us, it's recurring revenue, right? So it's a little bit.
Yeah, we have things that are like between our personal production and then ref share and things like that. Like we can make sure it's allocated appropriately.
And even so, like all those things you guys are talking about, adding a little bit of money and expense out of your pocket would just make all those things better.
Yeah.
You're not gonna miss. Not going to turn down a few $1,000,000 if you're paying $100 a month to have that.
Dude,
it's
like, steaks in strip clubs.
Well, think about this. How much time are you going to take off work if he's gone? Probably a little bit. It's not going to rebound.
Yeah, no, he wouldn't miss a day.
There's time that you're going to take.
Brother, I worked the day my mom passed.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, that's fair.
But to get systems and a new person in place.
Right. And then most people don't think about that. Oh, cool. We have business partners. We're good. 100 miles an hour building the business. Well, fuck. What if the dude who's
you better not be conjuring shit into this fucking building right now.
No shit.
Everyone stop at the red lights.
You did just say you were driving 190 in the.
Yeah, I think
I said that. When did I say that? On air?
That was
I said that on air.
No.
Kilometers.
Oh, so allegedly.
Allegedly. That's what I said.
I did not say that. I did not say that.
Oh, shit.
When I was watching a YouTube video.
Yeah. Felt like you were going 190.
That's one of those F1 simulators, I think.
Yeah, motherfucker. Yeah. Where are you going with your business now? Is it more insurance?
More people.
Is it mile deep focused on that? Like cars are cool, you keep them, but you're not trying to scale that.
No.
Real estate's cool, not necessarily trying to scale that. Like it's like, hey, I want to go a mile deep with this.
Yes.
In what fashion? Like, are you bringing people onto your team? Are you just doing more transactions?
I'm trying to go into more
higher net worth
clients, but also keeping still a backbone of blue collar. Mid volume. I was kind of doing too high volume before. I need to go more mid volume, higher level. And because like simple thing happened even today. I had a client where I had a meeting with him, supposed to follow up, got busy. We both got busy, reached back out to him. He goes, nah, man, I'm good. It's like, that's my bad. But most of that came from the volume I'm doing. He got busy. I got busy. It happens. But if I was, had less value, maybe I had more time for that guy, right? Who knows, right?
But that's where the guy on your team comes into play.
Yeah.
That's for like for him and I, like if there's transactions that are like 800 or below, we've got agents that work with us.
Yeah.
That are taking on a lot of those tasks for that one. And that's price increases and people just expect willingly, like we just handle that differently, right? So that's where like a guy
to navigate that. And then
but it's hard, right? Because like if it's your buddy or something,
I still want to help people, right?
Yeah, you want to help.
I don't care if it's $50 a month. That's what they're paying. That's me, whatever. I want to help them because I know that's important. Yeah. It's hard to turn that off when I have another client over here who's going to do a lot more, and it's the same amount of time for the transaction.
Yeah, and it's like, man, I still care for this guy. Yeah. I'm not trying to gauge it off of just a number thing, but in business, you kind of have to.
Yeah, I know.
Gauge
that's
it off
the tough
of
part.
numbers.
I want to make an impact in the industry. I hate seeing the GoFundMe pages. That's my biggest. What keeps me up at night is when a lineman puts up a fucking GoFundMe page. It's like, dude, I know how much money you make. I know how much money you waste just by knowing the trade you're in.
It's that because linemen make good money.
Yeah. And it's like,
dude, across the board of blue collar work. And don't get me wrong, it's fucking hard work.
It's the top.
So I'm not saying they're not worth the money.
I agree.
But they make good money to where like you think they could put some away.
And it's that much more asinine when it doesn't happen. It's like, dude, how are you begging for 30 grand?
It's behavior, right? Because like we're spending exactly what we make.
Yeah. And I would say that even those guys can afford this and they just don't have the time. They don't have the attitude for it.
Or they don't believe in it. Or because who doesn't want to do $20 a month?
Right. Exactly.
Or I don't want you guys finger popping my asshole.
Yeah. Or, there's an unfortunate part where guys just can't pass it or they've gotten a recent DUI or felony or whatever that precludes you for a while too.
You think there'd be an industry or like a player in your industry that was like,
we'll take them all.
You had a DUI?
Yeah,
we'll take you. Yeah. Because the odds are probably still pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. You think that they would recognize that and
unfortunately
clean up on that?
People in DUI accidents, like it's typically the gentleman that I mean, I don't know how that works with insurance though, like if you commit a crime.
So there's two ways you won't get paid out, at least the company I work for, is if you die committing a felony.
Yeah.
Or if you die killing yourself within 12 months. So suicide within 12 months or die.
They give up. Suicide after 12 months though.
Totally fine. Send it.
What?
So I have some dark fucking friends that will call me and say, what's my clock looking like? And I'm like, Jesus Christ, don't put that on me, dude.
Yeah.
And then when I switch companies,
but then you tell them.
They ask me, I tell them. I would switch companies. When I switched from Northwestern to Penn, Northwestern was 24 months. Penn is 12 months. So some of the guys were like, I'm not starting over my clock. I'm not fucking doing that. I'm like, well, it's only 12 months over here. Okay. I actually stepped ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
I was like, God damn, you guys are fucking dark.
You're like, do we need to get together, man? You want to go grab a drink?
And there's three of the guys that I actually genuinely concerned about. Yeah. Like I'll check on them when wars pop off in places.
Dark humor is like there's just a place for it, man.
There is, and like, they know what they can talk to me, and it's
100%.
Not. I don't really worry about those guys.
A lot of people don't understand it,
right?
But there was this comedian on Instagram today I was watching, and he was talking about like how he went to rehab, and one of his buddies came up to him, and he's like, hey man, like I see you doing so good, and like man, you're really like making a lot of strides, but listen, don't take suicide off the table.
I saw that.
Really?
Yeah.
I saw that, dude.
And the comedian just expressed like how much laughter came from that and how it was actually healing to just
of course
be human for a fucking minute. And like,
everyone else is not saying that. Everyone's just shying away from that. And you just fucking call it out and joke around with the guys.
So how do you go after higher net worth folks? Like what?
The Lambo helps.
Does it really?
Yeah. And it's a weird thing.
Because some people might think, dude, you're just trying to get more of my money.
No, because people that are in that, there's a lot of rich people that don't know how to use life insurance or don't have it. They think that their business is their inheritance, or they think that they don't need it, or they don't understand how they can use it. If you had if you can build equity and you can use this cash in your business, fuck, I could use that.
Yeah.
Fuck, why did I do that? So that when I educate them on it, it's like, oh, I need this. So that's helpful. And I don't attack them. I don't try to say, hey, I'm only talking to you because you have more money. It's a natural, I'm in your circle now. We're hanging out. And it's just, I don't know. It's pretty natural. It doesn't come off.
And it's a pretty low buy-in.
It does not cost much, dude. It's whatever you can put in, you're going to get back. You're not paying for anything. You're just repositioning money. So when I explain that to them, it's, hey, it's also taxable. It's a taxable advantage. Now all this money in here is growing tax-free. All business owners hate fucking paying taxes. Everyone hates paying taxes, but especially entrepreneurs and business owners, like, wow, less taxes on my money. I can grow it and I can use it to buy more shit. And within my business, it's going to be tax free. Let's hear it. And once they invite that conversation, it's a very easy thing to explain to people, and they want it. You know,
I married a Jew.
Yeah, the one that doesn't get it.
I know.
I've heard it from Megan too. She's like, I married the one like broke Jew that there is. Like, God damn.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Here's where I'm 0 for 2, right? I got the super hot chick.
Yeah.
Doesn't cook much. No, she does do more, and she's good, you know.
Yeah.
But doesn't cook much.
Yep.
And you're like, that was it. And then him, it's like, like good looking, takes care of himself. Just like, oh no, he's the one that doesn't want to manage the money. I'm like, well, we gonna leave it up to me? Don't fucking leave it up to me, dude. Don't.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I know.
You're like, hey, how do you like? Oh man, but he's getting better.
Yeah,
I forced him into the position, just like, hey, bro,
we're learning.
Yeah,
I just stopped looking.
The Jew, you have to do this.
Yeah,
come on, man.
I know.
It's literally in your blood.
I get it.
No, man.
Like,
oh shit.
Been fun.
Yeah.
Super excited. Anything specific you want to give listeners, man, that you think's important, and obviously we're gonna put all your contact information as far as your social medias and all that stuff, and this will get snipped up and onto your social things like that. But anything specific you want listeners to know about you, or how they should contact you if they're just listening to this podcast, and where they can get some advice? Because real talk, right? All jokes aside that we had today, whether you're law enforcement or and a first responder, whether you're a veteran, a lineman, doesn't matter. We have listeners and a lot of blue collar folks that listen to this, and like, hey, all jokes aside, there's an extraordinary opportunity to use life insurance a certain way that you're kind of mentioning today, but not going into detail.
Sure.
There's a way they can use it. And there's also just a way of like just setting their family up for success if for some reason something happens. And when it comes to first responders, you don't need to hear it from me. There's guys in the first responder world that got hurt or killed in the line of duty, and then how they're taken care of is not necessarily how you might think.
Yep.
So having some of your own is still not a bad idea. So all jokes aside, right? Like if you're listening to this and you feel like you could have that, we're going to make sure you've got some links below and some contact information for Anthony. But anything else you want to add?
That's the biggest thing, man. It's like, I think someone may have been you, like, respect yourself and your family enough to get it. It's that easy. And it's, man, if you're 30 years old or 20 years old, don't think you're too young, because one, unexpected deaths happen, right? That's one thing. The other thing is it gets harder and harder to get as you get older, and more expensive as you get older. So get it when you're young. Get it for your kids, man. That's, I don't know. My kids all got it, and that's the coolest thing you can do for your kids is get one for your kid, and then that kid will grow up with 6 figures of money to decide what he wants to do at 21.
Damn.
It could be college. It can be.
And now he can finance it himself instead of having like that terrible tuition loan.
You can gift that to him. So this is what I've done for you. This is now yours. This is your legacy. So that's the easiest thing to tell people is like, man,
dude, Eli, instead of you and I getting fingers in our asses, let's get life insurance for our kids.
I'm not even getting a finger in my ass.
I pay extra for that if you guys want it. That's part of my.
I mean, I'm open.
I got a group plan.
Can you guys tell, like, secretly, like, I want it? I just like, oh no.
I usually find the doctor with the biggest hands in the county. Like, send them your way.
Hey doc, you're not gonna.
Did you run this by the compliance guy when you were going through your interview? Like, hey, dude, I'm gonna be talking about hands in my asshole.
Yeah. No, I just said,
got
man,
the green light.
Make it work, man.
There we go.
A lot of fun.
I see. Yeah, just have a conversation with me, because maybe there's the off chance it doesn't work for you, but chances are.
Number one thing when it comes to financials and everything, right, that I recommend for folks is like, you don't have to have your mind made up before you make the call.
Yeah, right.
If you're curious, just have the conversation. Eli will tell you this. Dude, I'm so curious about so many things, and I'll have the conversation, and it'll either take me closer to it or not. But either way, like, I never think I have to have my mind made up before I make a call. So if you guys are thinking about this, if you're curious, you don't have to have your mind made up. Maybe you do. That's cool too. But if you don't, just get more information specific to your scenario, because that's where you can talk a lot more specific, is when you're actually meeting with someone in private about their circumstance and what they would like to do. That's where you can really go a mile deep with that. So if you guys are even curious about it, just make sure we're throwing that contact out. And if we can help you, if for some reason you can't find Anthony's number, hit myself or Eli up. We'll make sure we throw it away. Throw it out there.
The one wrap up I'll say is, the one thing I do get from some people is like, I've already got a plan. It's been set up since XYZ.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the way the life insurance we haven't really talked about a whole lot. That whole life policy that's been set up before, that's where I shine. And most of them are not set up right. They're set up to perform for the agent and set up to perform long term. But in that short term, which we're trying to capitalize on as our youth, I shine. And I haven't not beat a policy yet. So if you already have one, hear me out. We'll look at it. And if it's good, man, I'll tell you, hey, man, this thing's kick ass. Good job.
Yeah.
Tell your buddy, great. But chances are it's not, and we can fix it, and you can be on your way better, you know.
Love it.
And we can let you know our favorite strip club where we can meet at.
Right? Steaks.
Let's
and
go,
strip
baby.
Clubs, buddy. Yeah, life insurance here.
Yeah.
I'm eating a
Where do I
steak.
sign
God
it?
damn it.
Where do I sign it?
Got any singles?
Happy Friday, guys. Hey, listen, we'll be back next Friday. We'll have another show for you. I know we're trying to get these out every week and having some fun with it. A lot of times it's just myself and Eli, but having some friends of ours that we just value a lot that we want to have on podcasts is important. But Eli is so good at getting these podcasts uploaded right away. Absolutely crushes it. Listen, dude. Absolutely. If there's one thing he does better, it's how well he just runs our business.
This is first tier leadership right here. This is exactly
you do
what's
so
going
good
on.
that I don't want to do it. So I'm gonna tell you how good you do. So
or like reminding him to make sure this gets uploaded. He does a great job, man.
Make
like,
sure,
dude, we're growing a ton too, and like I'm out there speaking and doing all this cute shit, but it really like it brings back a lot of stuff. Of courses or group training, and Eli's got to chop that up and organize it, making sure that platforms are appropriate for us to go execute on. And don't know how I could do it without him, man.
It
I really
allows you to keep going. Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, bro, if it wasn't for Eli, man, I'd be a part of some corporation where I just would be within something, trying to make it happen. So much love, bro.
Down your suicide
Much love
clock.
to you guys.
I know, right?
I was gonna hit you up about that later. Yeah.
Wait. You gonna clear
Just kidding. Not now. At least until the payout's there. Or my wife is gonna kill me. It's one of those.
Wow, thanks so much for
do they have good
You brought this thing way.
Do they have good investigation? Like if they suspect like spousal homicide?
Eli, if you kill yourself, I
think she's probably still going to get paid. That money goes on her commissary in prison. She's ramen noodles and earplugs or whatever she gets.
Could you imagine like that happens and you're like on your way to the afterlife and then like I just snatch you back in? What's the matter with you, man?
You're back.
Shit. We got shit to do.
Okay, we do.
All jokes aside, man, like suicide's a real thing. We have that with like military and
I hate joking about it. It's more
it's just dark humor.
Yeah.
It's just you got to get some laughs out of things, and a lot of our listeners understand that. And now we've dealt with a ton of it in military.
My best friend did it 3 years ago. Still fucks with me.
Yeah, man.
You know?
So
I
having
joke
some
about
lightheartedness.
Joke about
well,
it,
sometimes it just kind of like, I guess, smooths your edges on a Friday, Eli.
There you go.
Something like that.
There you go.
Love you, boys.
Appreciate you guys
Happy
listening.
Friday. We'll get out of here.
All right. Day $1.0.
We're out of here.